Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Trev and Lev show right here on YouTube.com, where we talk SEC, Tennessee, and everything CFB. I'm Trev. He's Lev. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in today. And today we're talking about Tennessee, Tennessee and Kentucky. Our reaction to this week's game, win for Tennessee in Lexington, continue to own this series. Lev, your initial thoughts here.
Uh, just defensively, a little bit of another another defensive performance from Kentucky that's very similar to a lot of the other games. Get some good turnovers that make you feel like, hey, the defense is getting it done, but then they just give up big plays and let a bad offense score 34 points on you. Just it's just still frustrating, and I get it. The defense is very hurt. There's a lot of the best players on the defense are out. They don't have a lot of depth, but it's still just frustrating. Um, you feel like you should be scoring or not letting them score as much as they did. But you get a win, and the offense looks phenomenal. Aside from a couple three and outs or a few three and outs, the offense was pretty much lights out the whole night. Um,
Yeah.
so not really much to say to complain about the offense. I think getting three receivers over 100 yards, big. Um, even having the extra I think one thing that really helped our offense tonight or last night against Kentucky was the fact that Rodarius Jackson and Ethan Davis were back. I think that really helped things out a lot.
For sure.
But yeah, that's my kind of opening thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of thought we one of our keys to victory was start fast. I think that they did a good job handling that. I think what it was 21-7 in the first quarter, 28-7 shortly, into the second quarter. And you kind of just put them in a grave they couldn't get out of quickly. That was a huge key because we have not been good on the road. And I think that Tennessee had a very strong performance here. Obviously, offensively was way better than the defense. Um, it was a frustrating game in a lot of aspects because of the defensive woes. You feel like this game could have been a bigger blowout than it was if the defense had stepped up. And I mean, I give them credit in the second half. They're only letting up 13 points. We've seen that kind of this year is, get absolutely shredded in the first half. Typically in the second half, Tim Banks has something dialed up to where we're able to stop what's hurting us. I just wish that they could do that sooner, or maybe not start so slow and sluggish and look like they don't want to be there, look like they don't know what they're doing. Um, I don't know. I was very much impressed with the offense, but as we mentioned, the defensive woes continue, and you attribute a lot of that to injuries. And I know you want to dig deeper into defensive woes here, but um, for me, I guess it's injuries are a big part of it. You're missing Ricky Gibson. You missed Arion Carter this game. You're missing Jermod McCoy,
Colton
and I don't
Hood.
think that and Colton Hood went out for he was out for probably most of the second half of this game. And I don't think you're getting Jermod or Ricky Gibson back. So yeah, your thoughts on kind of defensive woes here, getting into it a little bit deeper.
Yeah, the thing with Dramad is it's like it's so far into the season. It's just like you feel like he's probably not coming back. I'd say if he does come back, it'd be maybe during a playoff run, if we're in the playoffs. But I
Yeah,
just feel like he's maybe at this point in the season where I think he wanted to play, but it's just the season's gone on too far, and he's got high draft stock that he might just be done at Tennessee, which just really sucks. But yeah, the defense, that's just, there's too many big gash plays, too many plays where it's just they're not in good coverage. They just let a man beat them. I mean, there's two specific plays that really come to mind. You have that first one where Kentucky kind of throws the guy on the sideline, and the guy just beats everybody on Tennessee's defense. It's just
Couple missed
bad. Yeah,
tackles.
just bad tackling. The guy was fast, so I mean, he's a fast player, but you should not have let him get all the way to the end zone. I think the first guy who missed him just went at it like he was getting held up by the defender, but he did not go on the right side. He went inside, the guy went outside, so he just made a bad angle towards it, and then just nobody else was able to get him, and the guy's just too fast to catch up to. So it just was not a good combo. And then you have the other big play where Boo Carter just got absolutely beat. It's just like stuff like
Hmm.
that just makes you think, what's Boo doing? Does he even care anymore? When I was listening to Tony Basilio and they were cracking jokes about how he's the highest paid fair catcher in the league. That's about all he
Yeah.
can do. And he hits hard. He's an athlete. He's very athletic. I don't think his heart's not in it, and I don't know. He just doesn't care anymore. And I think
Yeah,
he's looking to his next team, or he's not. His head's not with the team. I don't think.
I think we've kind of come to the conclusion together that this is what the defense is at this point. It's not going to change. You hope it doesn't get worse. You hope those second half adjustments are good enough to get you to win games, and it has been, at times this season. Um, but I think we got to accept it. This is the defense. This is the rest of the year. This is what it's going to be. And it's a tough pill to swallow coming off of last year's defense, which really carried this team, right? You lost a lot of those players. You retained a lot of those players. It's just really disappointing to see. Um, and at the same time, they are opportunistic enough. I think that they have what 5 or 6 defensive touchdowns this year, which I think is tied for most in the country. They're opportunistic enough to where it they can get those kinds of stops that can change the game. And I don't know. It's a young defense. We've got a lot of injuries, like we said. Hopefully they can learn, grow, get better for next year because this year we've got what we've got, and
Need more
hopefully it's enough.
depth.
Yeah, I mean, and these guys have got to get experience, and that's what they are doing right now, I think. And it's just, you know, I don't know. It's just it's not a pretty sight, but hopefully this defense is good enough to help you win out.
I think
Um,
what I said during the game about them is pretty accurate. I think they're Dr. Jekyll and Hyde
yeah.
defense, where they have one drive where they play really good, get a great stop, get a turnover, do something, and then they have the next drive where they can't get off the field, and they just let the team inch their way down the field.
Hmm.
And honestly, I feel like that's been a bigger problem than letting up big pass plays. This game was kind of a little bit different. I don't really feel like this season we've let up big chunk plays like that for
Yeah.
touchdowns. It's been honestly worse. It's been we let the teams just hold the ball and like inch their way down the field, which I think hurts us more because the offense stays off the field for a lot longer. They get cold and it just tires at the defense. So
Mm-hmm.
we
So
just
yeah, I
can't
mean,
get off the field sometimes, and it's just frustrating.
do you attribute that more to Tim Banks or is it the defense? Because
It's just
obviously
third.
lots of talk. There's been years of talks about getting rid of Tim Banks. Is this finally the season that Tennessee does it?
Uh,
Slash, do you think that they should?
I think it might be the right move. I don't know for sure, but I don't think Tennessee's going to make that move. I think Tim Banks is here until he leaves on his own volition or Heupel's fired. That I just I don't see Heupel. I don't Heupel just doesn't seem cutthroat enough to fire Tim Banks. That's just kind of how I see it.
Was
I
it last year that we were worried he was going to leave for a different gig?
Maybe a little bit. I think
But
he
what
was talking to
what
some other
it was a
teams.
head coaching job, right? Was it? I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
But we were legit worried because we had just come off of that great season, right?
Well,
That we last year great defensive season, best defensive season that we've had under Heupel.
I don't necessarily think Tim Banks is a horrible coach. I think there's some things I don't like about him. I don't like his third down call, like defensive calling, has not been the greatest. Um, I don't think they've coached tackling well enough, and it's just I think players really make a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator a lot of times. If you don't have the right players, you're going to look worse. Like I think schematically, for the most part, the defensive scheme is not bad. I just think they don't have the players right now and the depth, and I think that's really screwing him. But he should. That's still on him. It's still his fault that he doesn't have the depth and the players he needs, and he hasn't
So
coached them out of tackle. So it's still a Tim Banks problem. But I don't think it's necessarily the coach the game plan. The game planning I don't think is his issue. I think it's scheme because I mean last year we saw game plan was not the issue. He had really good players and we had a really good defense.
sure.
This year we lost a lot of that good talent. We have a lot of our best players are hurt. Therefore, we have a bad defense. But
I'm gonna kind of pitch you this hypothetical. So obviously, Big Orange preview will drop on Thursday, where we break down Tennessee and Oklahoma. Let's say Tennessee beats Oklahoma. Oklahoma kind of goes on a downward spiral. They've got their last 4 games of the season are against ranked opponents. Let's say they lose 3 or they lose all 4 of those games. Brent Venables gets fired. And he's on the market, right? Would you be interested potentially in hiring Brent Venables
oh, I
in
would,
place?
I would. I just don't see Heupel doing that. I don't see Heupel firing Tim Banks.
I think I think I would do that in a heartbeat,
Yeah,
easily. I think he's probably one of the best defensive minds in the whole country, and they've got one of the best defenses this year.
I think
I don't know if he'd be interested in the job, and I don't think Heupel would do it. I agree with you. I don't know if he'd be interested in it, but
I think that's one of my biggest worries with Heupel and him winning a national championship at Tennessee is I'm just not sure if he is cutthroat enough to win one. Because you have people like Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, and all these coaches who have won multiple national championships or won a national championship. They are cutthroat guys. If you are causing issues and firing you will lead to you having success, they're fired under those coaches. Nick Saban's
yeah,
not keeping dead weight. You're out if you're a coach for Nick Saban and you're causing issues. You're done. I
that's
just
true.
Heupel. I think these are his buddies. He doesn't want to fire them, and I think also part of
Yeah,
the fact is he got fired at Oklahoma and kind of was a scapegoat, and I think he kind of has some like where he doesn't want to do that because
that's
he
fair.
kind of had the same thing happen to him. But I think that could be an issue for him going forward. Is if there's a defensive problem and it's not getting fixed, you kind of need to cut the defensive problem out. But
You know, he's been willing to change, especially with the offensive scheme this year changed a lot, right? How we, our blocking schemes, our wide receiver splits, our play calling. I feel like it's all changed in the offseason. We haven't seen him do it with a coach yet, though. So I agree with you. I mean, I don't see him doing that, and I think it would be a home run hire if he did do that. Um, Kind of moving on here, we got our player of the game. I really wanted to take this section and kind of focus here on Joey Aguilar, who is my player of the game. I'm sure he's your player of the game as well.
yeah,
Uh, this was the best performance of his career, and obviously the best performance he has had all season. 396 passing yards, 20 of 26, 3 touchdowns. You see on the screen there. Had complete command and control of this offense. He had 5 passes of 35 or more yards, I believe, and he didn't miss on a deep ball tonight or on Saturday night. Your thoughts on his performance and how do you think it shapes up for the rest of the season?
I think it was a really good game for the offense after they had a rough week against Alabama. Just a get right game and just Joey showing off his deep arm talent. Um, I think Joey Aguilar is his biggest the thing he has going for him that's the best is his confidence. And this can go two ways. it can go one way where he's super confident and he's getting all these deep passes, but it could also be he's too confident sometimes and he'll have a bad interception from now and then. But I think confidence has really been key for him. He's not scared to throw the deep ball. I think some of our past quarterbacks with Nico and Joe Milton, they had a little bit hesitancy and just a little bit of nervousness with throwing the deep ball, and it just led to them overthrowing a lot of times. Um, but Joey doesn't have that. He has confidence in his abilities, and he's willing to throw the ball deep, and it's working out for him. And he did not miss a single one in this last game, and he had a phenomenal game. I think probably his best game to date, um, as a Tennessee player, personally.
Yeah, I mean he's at times struggled a little bit with accuracy throughout the season. Nothing like Nico has, or last year, or Joe Milton has the year before that. But I mean, Saturday night, it was zero accuracy issues. I thought he was perfect, as perfect as you can be with the football, and he made big plays, and like I said, didn't miss on any of those deep balls.
Well, and if you take that Georgia game where everyone was really praising him, a lot of his throws were kind of not in the best spot. It was a kind of a lot of the
Mhm.
receivers, um, really making plays. But on Saturday night, it was not just receivers making big plays. He had the ball was on the money. They were really good throws,
Yep.
um, in perfect positions. The receivers didn't really have to do anything special. They were just in the right spot. Ball was placed in the right spot. They caught the ball and touchdown. Um,
Yeah.
or
And
really
We
big
we didn't
gain.
we didn't mention it much, but the receivers deserve a lot of credit for the way they played. Zero drop passes, their best game of the season so far collectively as a group. Three receivers over 100 yards. I mean, that's why you come to Tennessee as a receiver. Those big plays, those big moments, those big catches, um, and just the like, especially Staley getting the ball in space, making something happen. Mike Matthews had a few good runs after catches, and then Brazel just he's just a deep threat, right? He just is getting gonna be able to get up and catch anything thrown his way for the most part, right? Um, and I just feel like as a quarterback, that's what you want. You want three receivers that you have ultimate confidence in, one or two tight ends that you know can make big plays for you in big moments. And I mean, he's earned this. I mean, this confidence is not only in his ability, but it's also in the receiver's ability. And I think that's something that he didn't have at App State. He wouldn't have had at UCLA. So I mean, I thought he was as perfect as you can be. And as far as the rest of the season goes, if he plays like that, Tennessee is going to have a great chance to win every single game. That's on their schedule.
Yeah. I will say one
It,
thing that makes me nervous about the offense was the first half. I feel like the running game was having a lot of issues. It opened up in the second half and it really helped out the offense and they had a better second half performance. But I felt like we had a really hard time, and a lot of those three and outs was because our running backs couldn't really get into space.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that was just the blocking was not great in the beginning of the game, the run blocking. But they got it
Yeah,
fixed. I think overall the running backs had a pretty good day. Star Thomas, I think had probably the best day of the three running backs. Even though I think Deshaun Bishop's still the best back of the three. I think Star Thomas had a really good day. Um, I think all three had a touchdown though, right?
I believe so. Yeah, and that's something we'll kind of get into, like uh, the preview episode. Offensive line play, uh, back to back weeks kind of struggled a little bit with pass protection and run blocking.
Mm-hmm.
Be interesting to see how they match up against that elite Oklahoma defense. But with that, we'd like to thank you all for tuning in. We be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, please, for more content surrounding the SEC, Tennessee, and everything college sports. I'm Trev, he's Lev, and this was the Trev and Lev Show. Catch you on the next one.
Peace.